Dear learners, today I will tell you something about poultry, and the area where I will be discussing what is the brief view of a Indian poultry industry. As you know that poultry is one of the very important agribusiness being practiced in our country as well as in other countries too. Now, through this lesson, I will try to tell you something about what type of various domesticated poultry species or bird species. Then what is the Indian poultry scenario in context with the global scenario in terms of a poultry egg as well as in terms of the broiler meat. At the same time, you will also find out the sectors of poultry industry, and in the last I will try to sum up different contents described through this lesson. Now, as an student or as a learner, what you will learn out of this talk? Particularly, you can identify different species of domesticated birds coming in a whole group of poultry. At the same time, you can also assess Indian egg and meat production in our country. And in the last, you can also describe what are the different poultry sectors in India. Now, many people they always term what is the meaning of a poultry, how you will define poultry. So, poultry is a group of domesticated birds, and in other words we can say that it includes chickens, ducks, emu, geese, guinea fowls, ostriches, pigeons, quails, turkeys for producing eggs as well as meat to consumers, and ultimately this poultry will be farming as a source for income generation. Now, these are through the pictorials I will try to tell you. The first one, it is a very common, that is a chicken. Under the chicken, many times you will find mainly two types of birds. One is meant for egg production, these are called layers chicken, and second type where you can find out meat, and those type of birds are known as broiler chicken. So, this means you can identify egg type chickens as well as meat type chickens coming in a chicken as a whole. No doubt, in a very common sense, people used to say that chicken itself is a poultry. So, but as a learner you should know that besides chicken there are many other species which can also be domesticated by farmers and related persons, and they are number 2, that is ducks. Again ducks are being reared for meat purposes as well as egg purposes both. And very recently the third group of domesticated birds that has come into the emu, and then geese as well as guinea fowls, ostriches, and pigeons. You can also rear pigeons, and the quails. No doubt in our country you will find quails as a Japanese quails, and zoologically they are Coturnix japonica. And the last group of birds coming into poultry as a whole, that is the turkey. Now, coming on the main topic, that is a poultry industry sector. As you know that poultry industry just 4 decades back, it was called as a very in a primitive stage poultry farming, but now it has transformed into a full fledged commercial intensive system of rearing, producing eggs and meat and different other useful products of the poultry farming, and now it has taken or it has transformed into a full fledged enterprise. And let us say in the current year, our human population is about 1.3 billion. So, now we have to look forward for providing egg and meat to the complete human population, that is 1.3 billion. Now, coming to broiler meat, as I told that broilers are reared for production of meat, but no doubt you can also get a part of the culled hens and culled birds for case of meat, but normally 90 to 95% production are related with the broiler meat. So, in total year in 2016, it has been reported that broiler meat has been produced about 4 billion kg, and if it is a 4 billion kg, and when you compare India broiler meat production with other developed countries, so our global rank stands on 4th. This means USA on the top, followed by China and the Brazil, and ours is the 4th. Whereas, if you go through where are the pockets or where are those important states where you can find the geographical distribution of broiler meat production. So, Andhra Pradesh, no doubt it has been again bifurcated into two, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, but as a combined Andhra Pradesh as a whole. Then Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Punjab, northern sector, and West Bengal and Karnataka. These are the, you can say, the top broiler meat producing states, and these contribute about 65% of the total poultry meat production. Now, coming to table X, the production is about 75 billion number, and the again the coming on the global rank, that is called a third. No doubt leading is the China, followed by USA, and our country India stands on third position in case of table egg production. These data have been taken out, the eggs produced by all type of laying birds being reared in our country. Again, coming to geographical distribution, in case of the laying birds, you will find Andhra is the leading state, followed by the Karnataka, then Maharashtra, Punjab and Tamil Nadu, contributing 70% of the egg production. Besides these states, you will be glad to know that some of or other percentages or amounts of whether egg type birds or meat type of birds are being reared in other states also. So, we can understand that poultry is being practiced for producing egg as well as meat in almost all parts of the country, starting from Jammu Kashmir and ending to the Tamil Nadu. So, everywhere you will find poultry pockets, but no doubt the only the relative difference is there. Some of the states are producing more and some of the states are producing less. Now, everybody questions that in spite of a 70 billion and this of eggs, what would be the per capita consumption? That if you go on for broiler meat, it is coming 3 kg. This means one human being of India is consuming just 3 kg of broiler meat in 365 days, that is in an year, whereas in the most of the countries they are consuming 20 kgs of chicken per person per year. Now, you can pinpoint where India stands. There is a gap, and how this gap has to be filled up, this is our look. So, this means we have to augment different inputs, so that the poultry farming can be enhanced in our country to come alike with other developed countries. In case of eggs, this per capita consumption is coming only 60 eggs in an 365 days. This figure is a very less when you compare with the developed countries other where 240 eggs in an year. Now, the question comes, what our human nutritionists like National Institute of Nutrition or National Nutritional Board, what they recommend, or what whenever you talk about the recommendations, no doubt about broiler meat, they have recommended that our diet should contain at least 10 kg of the broiler meat per person per year. So, now you can compare the 10 kg is the recommendation, availability is the only 3 kg, 7 kg is to be produced more. In case of eggs, recommendation is 180 eggs, this means half a day, half egg per day. So, 180 eggs per person per year, and the availability is just 60. Now, what is the changed scenario you will find? No doubt, as I told that Indian poultry industry is about 4 to 5 decades back. If you look back, where you will find only the desi type of birds, whether of egg type or meat type, they were reared in backyard farming, not on a commercial farming or not in intensive systems. But so, on those days were the 1.5 kg body weight of early broilers, whereas in the modern broilers you will find that modern broilers they can produce 1.8 to 2 kg body weight, and with feed conversion ratio is 1.6 to 1.8. Now, you can question yourself, what is feed conversion ratio? This means when you are intended to produce 1 kg of broiler meat, how much that particular broiler has taken, how much quantity of feed it can. So, when I am talking 1.6, this means by feeding of 1.6 kg, 1600 grams of feed to produce 1 kg of a broiler meat. This body weight is on the live basis, not as a net basis. So, it is a live basis. So, now and even the age of rearing has also changed from 8 weeks to 6 weeks. Even from 6 weeks it is coming say 42 days, but nowadays you can get at the age of 35 or 38 days of the broilers, where you can achieve so 1.8 to 2 kg of the body weight. Now, coming to the layer side, you will find that in old days or 4 decades back or 3 decades back, you will find layers were laying hardly 140 to 200. Now, the question comes why? Because there were not genetically improved high-line egg type birds in those days, but in current situation where the modern hybrid layers are available in the market, they can lay up to 310 to 320 eggs per year. This means, if you just check with this number of days in an year, 365 days, where you can get on an average 310 or 320 eggs per year. Now, as you know that each enterprise or each industry is being governed or is being judged by the what is the growth and what is the market value. As we know that revenue what we generate per year through agriculture, it is coming hardly to 2 to 3%. But as poultry, which is also one of the very important agribusiness, so in case of broilers, we can notice that 10 to 12% of the revenue growth per year over the last year, if you see. In case of layers, where 6 to 8%, now you can just question that why the growth in case of broilers is more vis-a-vis layers. Layers are laying type or egg type birds, they used to start lay at the age of 6th weeks, 6 months onwards, and they start laying at the 6th month, and they will go on 1.5 years or more to produce a sizable number of eggs. Where in case of broilers, we have to rear them hardly up to maximum up to 8 weeks, otherwise during 6, 7 and 8th weeks. So, the broilers, they are fast growing birds in comparison to layers. Now, what is the market value? If we say that in case of the broiler industry, where 425 billion is being spent for different production of the broilers, and in case of the eggs, it is coming to 255 billion. Now, again you can question that which one is more profitable, whether broilers or layers. Nowadays, in our country, wherever you go in market, people will prefer to buy broiler meat or poultry meat in comparison to other livestock or other animal meat coming from either pig or buffalo or even the goat and the sheep meat. In comparison, even fish also, you will find that people used to buy or people used to prefer to consume broiler meat and poultry meat at a faster rate and in comparison to more. Now, in old days, or you can say the 4 decade backs, backyard farming, which was a free range. This means you are allowing birds to roam here and there. They will just scavenging to on the grounds or in the open fields, where they will find insects, small pieces of the food grains left over in the fields. So, that type of farming that is known as a backyard farming, where free range in early 70s. But now, when you are opting poultry farming as an enterprise or as a side business to earn something, some money, and then this is a purely a commercial farming, and it is purely intensive system. Again, intensive system can be of 2 types, whether floor reared birds or birds reared in the cages, and the modern techniques or the scientific applications are much more in the case of a commercial farming incentives. So, this means we can say that our poultry industry is about say 55 years old. Now, this poultry industry at present, it is a vibrant, self-reliant and having the full scientific knowledge which can be used in farming of egg type birds or meat type of birds, opting as a commercial business. Now, so the question comes, how the transformation has come up in the case of a poultry sector in comparison to other sector also. No doubt central government as well as the state governments, even the public sectors, they all club together and they all join their hands to initiate research and development. Through continuous research in the form of developing different type of breeds, improving the nutritive quality of the poultry feeds, designing different modern poultry equipments and poultry appliances, including the poultry processing plants, and educating the mass so that they can know much informations, much importance of the poultry products in their human diets. And we should not forget the more emphasis by Central Avian Research Institute, which is an ICR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research coming, and it is being situated at Bareilly. Again, the Directorate of Poultry Research, which is again coming into the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, located at Hyderabad. Then different state agriculture universities as well as state veterinary universities, where you can find poultry science or poultry production departments are there. So, there teachers as well as students, they are keeping themselves engaged in conducting various type of research programs, so that the scenario of the poultry in form of enterprise or in form of an industry can be elevated. And what for this transformation is needed? No doubt consumer is the first, because we have to consume egg as well as meat. And beside this egg and meat, there are many others like feathers and the poultry manure. So, they are also the products of the poultry, but no doubt as a table products for human consumptions, egg as well as meat comprise important place. And farmers are also ultimate users, because they will opt this poultry farming as one of their agri occupation to keep themselves as employed, whether as a for full time or whether as a for part time, and they will go on opting this poultry farming as a side business. And no doubt when we talk on industry sector, you will find various industries are coming up, taking broiler production as well as egg production on a large scale to cater the indigenous need of the country, as well as to export our products to neighboring countries in Southeast Asia and adjoinings. And private sectors, they are also being helpful in getting the outputs of the poultry. Now, I will try to tell you what are the various sectors of poultry industry. No doubt when you initiate poultry, which is a livestock or which is a living birds, so commercial germplasm, that is called baby chicks or day old chicks, or growing birds or even adult birds which are called breeders. So, these are the should be developed in a high yielding and breeding farms and hatcheries in the sectors of a feed mills, feed quality laboratories and poultry housing and appliances. You will find at the same time different sector, pharmaceuticals and vaccines, poultry processing plants, poultry products development, disease diagnosis lab, and no doubt education and training is also very much important, because unless you have a thorough knowledge or thorough information on different type of techniques to be applied in poultry farming, no one can start. It is not just like a backyard farming where you have to just take few birds and keep them behind your courtyard or so. When you are entering into a enterprise by taking the poultry, so you have to know. Now, the no doubt this is very clear that by taking the global rank of broiler meat production as well as egg production, when you compare with egg and meat production of a China or a USA and the Brazil, our production is no way inferior, where it is ranking third and fourth, but at the same time having big potential poultry production in our country. And that is the reason that this poultry sector involves more people to opt for poultry raising, but still as we told that per capita consumption, if you compare and they recommended by the nutrition board, there is a vast gap. So, how to bridge those gaps? We have to do more R&D needed to bring more recent advancements, recent tenets, so that these can be applied for augmenting poultry production in a profitable manner, in a very encouraging manner. And for all these, you have to be supported by our union government as well as by state government, and including the public sectors, so to overcome problems which are hampering the growth of the industry. Let us just for an example, the feed crisis or the day to day increased cost of the broiler feed as well as the layer feed where you are finding. This means this is a job of a nutritionist to develop economically cheaper poultry feed formulae where you can incur less expenditures on your feed. Similarly, to check feed wastage, the poultry feed appliances or designers, they have to opt out those type of feeders, those type of drinkers where the you can save poultry feed and the water itself. At the same time, disease, no doubt, it is a very grave concern to any industry which deals with the living material. So, this is a purely livestock. So, the more research you are needed to, in the case of the developing different type of medicines, whether they are used as a prophylactic or they are used as a curative towards the treatment of the various bacterial, parasitic, protozoal diseases. So, thank you very much for listening of my present talk, that was Indian poultry industry big view. Thank you very much.